welcome to my page. Absolute Idaho. Just going to do a few videos on all sorts of things, and this just happens to be another one. Since I'm a new page, I knew I was going to need a shoulder mount or some way to hold the camera while I do the things I do in my shop and show you, the viewers. And I watched a few videos of other people, and I'm a little cheap, so I try to do many things myself, as I think most people do. And I've kind of set up here to hopefully come up with some sort of a shoulder mount for the GoPro. And I watched a video of a guy that showed how you really get 3 attachment points when you actually buy the video. This happens to be the one that's in the case, the enclosed case. So the top section that the camera was mounted to when we purchased it. And I'm going to try and turn it into some sort of a shoulder mount, and we'll see how that turns out, I guess. So come along for the ride, and let's just play around. So I guess I really want to actually put it on my welding jacket, because I am a welder, and I do other things too, and it's a good jacket to have on. And I think I'm actually going to put it on my left shoulder because I'm right-handed, and we'll see how that turns out. Hopefully my thinking is correct on that. But I'm going to actually measure here and see probably something to that effect. And I'm going to actually mark that right there. Be the edge of it right on the top. I'm going to come up with some sort of a holder for my jacket. Make some sort of surface for the jacket to sit on. The shoulder, anyway. That out. And I in no way am endorsed by Carhartt. Just happen to like their clothing. Well, they do have good clothing. I wish I was endorsed. So that's actually where I want it. There's my mark. Something along that effect. I think I'll trim off the corners just so it's not so sharp and I don't cut myself. And it might be too big, but I can always pare it down later if I don't like it. I'm going to use some belting material. I know not everybody has belting material. I try to buy it whenever I find it. I use it for everything. It's phenomenal material. This is about 1/8 inch thick, 3 3/4 wide. It's got multiple uses. So anyway, this is my dog Ayla. She's a Great Dane. She's a pretty girl. Buddy. Hot. I know. The sun's hot, huh? All right, go to work. Go away. Go away. So I'm going to try and put a piece of this underneath. Underneath my jacket, and on top of it, probably 2 layers, and then bolt up through here. Which I think will be sufficient because this stuff does not tear. So it's a good start anyway. So I'll need 2 pieces of this. Cutting it's always fun because it is so thick, but these do a pretty good job. stuff, like I said. But it's good stuff. If you can find it, buy it. I think it's actually belting they use on equipment, large equipment, and then they zip it together with certain tools. I'll take the corners off of this too. This one's a little cleaner. Absolute Idaho, we try to do everything we can ourselves, hire out minimally, and I just think that's a key to living simply and, you know, becoming self-sufficient and doing things on your own, and, you know, cheaply if you can. Could have bought one of these, I suppose, and maybe I'll want to by the time I get it done. I might not like it, but currently I think it'll work out pretty good. I'm going to actually drill some holes. I'm going to use some of these shoulder bolts. I know some people call them sex bolts, because it's got both a male and a female that goes together. They're a bit unique. I just have them left over from a job probably 10 or 15 years ago. I use those to actually go through the coat and the two pieces of belting, and put some Loctite on there, and that should hold them together pretty well, plus some washers. So figure out what size this is. Make sure it's like that. Looks like 7/32. Try drilling some holes. If I can do that. These don't really matter as long as they line up, I guess. Speaking of that, I should mark it. At least mark the belting so I know how it was together. Mark the two pieces so that when you put it back together, you know which way it's supposed to go. I'm going to go ahead and
drill this piece out first. Grab some glue. Again, these don't really matter. Somewhere close. Four holes. Pretty evenly spaced. Most of it. Now, I'm going to try and drill all these out. See how that works out. It's tough to drill too.
Alright, so I got my holes. We don't need that anymore. Last words. So, red to the collar. Remember that. Red to the collar. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on there, so it's going to be like that. So I'm going to go ahead and drill this out to the coat, which might be fun. Probably should burn it, really. Maybe I'll get the tools to burn it. So as I said, I've decided maybe I'm actually going to burn the holes through my welding jacket. It's kind of a poly material, a little bit of cotton. Might be cleaner than drilling them. So I actually picked up a screwdriver, which I don't honestly know where I even got it from, but I do use it for this once in a while. It's got a sharp tip. Usually get that hot and I'll just poke it through. So I'm going to actually mark where the holes need to be. Hope I'm right. probably noticed I don't have safety glasses on. If I was working with metal, which I do, I wear them religiously, so I am pretty safe, just maybe not right now. And let's see if we can burn some holes. Way to go. Worst case scenario, this doesn't work out. I got 4 new vent holes in my jacket. Clean. Red smoke, you see that? Put that away. See how that worked out. So, now I've got 4 holes in my jacket. Now we got to line some stuff up. Let's see how it turned out. Oh yeah, real good. Let's get the bolts ready. I think I'm going to do the shoulder, washer. Well, maybe I'll skip the washer. It doesn't need it really. Try putting this through here. That might be fun. Oh yeah, works good. Do all 4 of those. If you can. After we drill that one. Got 2 of them. And these are aluminum. Wish it was steel, but aluminum will be fine. It's not that much weight. I'm going to change this one out maybe. So I changed this one out. There was one that was different than the other 3, but now they're all the same. And that in there. Oh, yeah, looks pretty good. So I'll show you what we got. So it's basically the belting, the 4 shoulder bolts. That's the back. That'll actually ride on top of my shoulder. And then this piece will go on top of there. And then the plastic piece that's on top of my shoulder will bolt onto this, and I'll put some screws down through that. Should be good. So I got all 4 of those through there. I'm going to put this piece on there. I lined up the red and the red, which I had marked earlier, so that I have the holes lining up in the same, because I didn't actually measure them, so it doesn't really matter. I don't think I'm going to be graded on it. Well, you guys might grade me, but I know if it works, I won't care after that. 2 of them. Three. It's always the last one, isn't it? Use my hammer on it, but it's aluminum. I don't want to mar the threads. They're certainly fighting me, though. Maybe I'll use a hammer. So I went and got a socket. I'm on top of this piece of wood, and I got a rubber mallet. See if I can persuade it. Yes, I did. Didn't take much. But sometimes. Looks good. Now for final piece. I really should probably soften up those edges a little bit, which I think I'll do. I'm going to get my Makita tree. Get my Makita tree. I call it that because I built it, and it holds pretty much nothing but Makita stuff. I am a Makita fan. No, I'm not endorsed. I'm going to need some safety glasses. Probably some sort of hearing protection. See, I do have safety stuff. Probably just use my flap disc because it's fast. This might be a little noisy. Much better. So, let's put this on here, see if it fits, see if it needs to be persuaded. Oh no, pretty good fit. I'm happy with that. And now, I'm going to use some Loctite on each one of these little screws. Yes, I'm using the red stuff, so hopefully this works out because it's going to be pretty permanent. See, right now you're getting a long distance view for this whole thing. After this is on here, you can follow me around and actually see what's going on right here. So far it's working out pretty good for having no real plans other than I just thought about how I might do it. Of course, proof is in the end when you're actually using the product and seeing how it actually works. So. Perfect. Put it back on that. Screwdriver. Tighten it up as much as possible. There's no way to grab a hold of the back side. There's no slot on that side, but it shouldn't need to be too tight. Pretty good. Probably could have used a washer on there. It's got a little bit of play in it, but see how that works. So there's the underside of my jacket. Here's the top side. Is it beautiful? No. Does it need to be? No. Let's try it out. Good news is I can't tell it's there. Looks like it's high enough. Feels pretty good. I think this might work. I'll kill the camera and we'll try it out. So I've got the camera mounted on my shoulder, and I've done some work since then. Not to the shoulder mount, but to my lathe mill drill. Was cleaning that up. Probably not going to turn it into a video, but changed my mind on it. But this is my shop. I'll give you a quick view. So this is where I was at yesterday when I was making the shoulder mount for the GoPro. Obviously vertical storage for my steel, hydraulic roll bender. Works pretty good. Not as cool as I thought it was going to be, but it's still pretty good. Manual roll bender, some miscellaneous wood tools that I use once in a while. Blue Moon, nah, probably sooner than that, but not as often as I probably should. But I'm not a woodworker. I'm a metal worker. Sometimes throw in wood just because people want me to. My welder, Tweco welder. I've used Lincolns, Millers, a couple other brands. I can't think of their names right now, but lesser brands. Miller was always my favorite. Tweco, though, gonna have to say, blows them both away. It's a phenomenal machine. Does exactly what they say it'll do, plus and plus some. It's MIG, STIG, and TIG, and it works well on all three. I mean, just is a great machine. If you guys are thinking about having a 3-in-1 because you're worried about it, don't be. At least not in the Tweco area, because it's phenomenal. It really is. I have an aluminum spool gun for doing aluminum, and other things if you want, but I use it for aluminum. Vertical bandsaw, obviously. Old one. I like old tools. Like I said, old American tools. It's a Walker Turner. I believe it's about 71, 72 years old. My Logan lathe, same thing. I'm getting rid of that other lathe because I got this one, and it too is about 70 plus years old. So a little messy right now, obviously. I don't think I cleaned it up from my last job. My plasma table, which I've had for approximately 12, 13 years. Love it. Its software is quite honestly phenomenal. I've used other tables, and I'd take this software and this table over them any day. Plasma cutter. Air tank. Ingersoll Rand had to upgrade way back when. Pretty hard on your compressor when you're running it continuously for that plasma cutter, which I do on a regular basis. So, press. I made a little hydraulic press, just a 20-tonner. Made it myself. My own design. Sorry about the mess here. Still moving my shop around a little bit. This is actually going to be my blacksmith corner. I had it over behind me for a while there, and I decided to go to the back. It's just a little cleaner, a little easier. There's a table there, obviously, but in behind that table is actually a KA75. You can look that up if you don't know what that is. It's actually like a striker, basically, for a blacksmith. It hits for 75 pounds, and it shakes the building when it hits. I don't have it actually attached firmly to the floor yet because I don't know how long we're going to be here. Anyway, so it's temporarily sitting on blocks and rubber and steel, and just to take some of the vibration away, and so it saves my building, doesn't crack the floor. But the floor must be made pretty well because I used it in the other area for many years and it didn't do anything to the floor, and I used it quite a bit. So propane forge, I do use that once in a while, but I actually prefer the coal. Just feels more natural, and I like not having to worry about it and burning up propane because it's darn expensive. my stack of coal, my little Giant, which I'm going to do a video on that. It needs to be rebuilt, refurbished. Babbitts need to be redone, repainted, new everything really, because it's getting kind of worn out. It's actually getting kind of scary. So anyway, that's my blacksmith corner. This is just my own personal storage. My work table, which is pretty messed up from doing some stuff yesterday, I'll clean that up. Fume extractor, picked it up on eBay and paid very little for it, and it works pretty well. I use it in the winter when I'm enclosed in here with my heat on, and obviously you don't want to die of weld smoke and other things. So my horizontal bandsaw, and this is my one of my best friends out here. Since I do work alone, I have to have friends. This is probably my best friend out here. He can lift, or she can lift 3,000 pounds all day long, which is pretty cool. It's electric hydraulic, but it's manual to move around. Not too bad unless you actually do have 3,000 pounds on it. Then you have to really put your back into it. But all in all, it's actually a really good machine. I picked that up on eBay a couple years ago too, and it's been probably one of the best purchases I've ever made for what I do. Personal stuff, motorcycle, turning it into a bobber, but I haven't finished that either. Junk. This is going to be a coffee table. Start of one. That's a rear drive gear out of an old tractor. Turned into a coffee table. Just need to make a top or whatever, and I'll probably end up selling that. That's what I do. GoPro stand. I just made it out of things I had, because again, that's what I do, and that's probably what a lot of my videos will be about. Is, you know, taking things that you wouldn't normally use, and you try and reuse them. Try to recycle if you can. Those large 8-inch square tubes are going to be a future pneumatic blacksmith hammer. I have plans for it, actually. Let's see, I can show you what it's going to look like. Here's the mess. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so this is something I drew up many years ago, and I know that's an iron cross, and that's a big no-no, but I think it's only a no-no if you're, a Nazi. I'm not a Nazi, so therefore it shouldn't matter. I'm probably going to change it into an actual Christ cross because, well, I'm a Christ believer to begin with, but I think it's probably a better societal acceptance of such a thing. But I just think it has kind of a cool factor, and that's kind of what I'm going to do with those tubes over there and some other metal I've got. And we're back to kind of where we started. So it's not a huge shop, but it's got everything I need plus some. And anyway, hopefully the camera worked out great for you guys. This is probably going to be the future style of videos. You'll be able to see firsthand what I'm doing, and be able to see my hands and see what I'm working on from a first-person perspective. So I appreciate you watching, and again, our channel is Absolute Idaho, and I appreciate you watching, and please watch for future videos. Please like and subscribe if you can. Thank you.